Goku, Saitama, Luffy, Madara, what all of these guys have in common, of course, is that they are some of the most broken characters in anime with unique abilities capable of defying physics and breaking reality itself. In fact, now that I think about it, there are actually a ton of characters you could probably just throw in the ring for the title of strongest anime character of all time, but what if we actually took, let's say, 10 of the most insane abilities and character traits from all across anime and built the ultimate character, one dude to rule them all. Meet main Hiro, a 70-year-old high school student, the optimum age of an anime protagonist, dare I say, who has had quite the hard life. You see, his clan was killed, his parents are gone, and he's been living on the streets ever since, working hard every day to become a marine biologist just like his uncle. And while I know his life may sound really hard, don't worry, Hiro is about to discover that he is the chosen one, destined to become the strongest anime protagonist of all time. And to make Hiro that strongest anime protagonist of all time, well, we need to start with a really solid base, and in this case, that would be the most powerful body imaginable. And with that said, I think there could be a few good options here we could pull from. He could be a Chimera End, which are these genetically mutated demon bugs from Hunter x Hunter, or even take the body of someone like this super busted demon slime like Rimuru from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, who is basically immune to any type of damage. And both of these would be great options, I think, but without the powers of Nen or unique skills, their bodies just don't really work, so that leaves us with one godlike and also very obvious option, the body of a Saiyan. That's right, arguably the most famous race maybe in all of anime and manga, the Saiyan body is the absolute perfect pick for our young Hiro. That's of course because Saiyans have incredible abilities like insane durability, overwhelming strength, and this cool tail that lets them transform into a great ape, a giant ape that can single-handedly destroy planets, it seems, which is just awesome. We actually see this overwhelming form as early as chapter 21 of Dragon Ball, where Son Goku transforms after seeing the full moon for the second time in his life, but it's not until Vegeta unleashes this terrifying force during the Saiyan saga that we do see its true devastating potential, where he threatens to destroy Earth by simply being there. Now let's be real, you all know what the real benefit of being a Saiyan really is. It's going Super Saiyan. The iconic golden hair, the sick blue lightning, and the overflowing ki. And so by having this body, when Hiro gets angry, he can transform into a Super Saiyan and he'll gain an extra 50 times multiplier to his strength. And if you thought that was crazy, just wait, because he can now transform all the way up to a Super Saiyan 3, where that power shifts up to an unbelievable 400 times multiplier, plus he gets this wicked rockstar hair, which is really, what's there not to love about this? Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering about Super Saiyan God, Blue, and Ultra Instinct. However, as I said earlier, I'm only gonna be choosing one power from each anime, and since those transformations are actually a result of using God Ki, they can't count towards Super Saiyan Hiro's immense power. Not that he actually needs it, as we'll see going forward. So next, I think it's time to talk about some of his powers, as every good hero needs a fun way to beat his enemies down, of course, and while there were a ton of limitless great options, I picked the best 4 to do the job. Starting with the first one, which might not be a big surprise because it's the best devil fruit from the anime One Piece, and while there were a few contenders like Law's Ope Ope no Mi or Kaido's Azure Dragon form, I think there's just one glaringly obvious fruit that main D hero does actually need, the Gum Gum fruit. Oh, well, technically it is now the mythical human fruit model Sun God Nika. That's right, Sun God Hiro is a Super Saiyan with the powers of Gear 5th. In case you don't know, Gear 5th lets Luffy transform into this quite weird looking form with even goofier abilities like turning his limbs into rubber or even the world around him into one big bouncy castle, basically literally turning his imagination into reality. He can pretty much do anything that Bugs Bunny or Tom and Jerry could do, things like making baseball bats appear from thin air or using a giant dragon as a jump rope. But apart from just just quirky stuff, he can also transform himself into, let's say, a giant, which when combined with the Great Ape or Super Saiyan form, will let Hiro fly around the universe as one titanic figure, bending and bouncing around on anything, and I mean literally anything. But one obvious drawback here, of course, is that no Devil Fruit user can actually swim anymore, which means that young stud Hiro here is going to have to say goodbye to his dreams of being the world's greatest marine biologist. Oh boy. But why settle for just that? Why not keep the reality warping powers just going? Because I think the next thing that sweet Hiro needs is a pair of really rad anime eyes. And while again there are endless great options like Kurapika Scarlet Eyes from Hunter x Hunter or Lelouch from Code Geass, they're both great options, I do think that Hiro, the absolute legend by now, needs the strongest eyes we can find for him, which means that Satoru Gojo's 6 eyes are going onto this bad boy's face. And while we're at it, might as well give him the Limitless technique too. I mean, they do kind of come in this 2-for-1 package. And with these 2 curse techniques from Jujutsu Kaisen, Hiro now becomes the honored one. Using his 6 eyes, he can read his opponent's energy flow and use his own energy with maximum perfect efficiency. This essentially lets him use his own powers much longer and better than anyone else out there, but that is far from its most useful ability, because you see, the 6 eyes have the real secret function to boost the power of his other power, Limitless. Now this is a curse technique that literally allows Gojo to bend space itself to help him fight. With Limitless, he creates infinite distance between himself and his opponent. He can also levitate and use the abilities of blue, red, and purple. And these skills will let Hiro here create a space of gravity that pulls everything into it with blue, the reverse technique of pushing things away with red, and when they're being combined, it's basically over, because now Dragon Lord Hiro here has the godlike move Hollow Purple, a technique that can completely erase things straight from existence, like poor Toji here during the hidden inventory arc in Jujutsu Kaisen as well. Oh, and before I go any further, on top of that, did I forget to mention that Hiro here is really into collecting stamps? He's actually weirdly passionate about them, so please don't mess with him here. But anyways, let's get back to all the crazy eye powers, and screw it, even though we already gave him 2 eyes, let's give him a 3rd eye, and I'm of course thinking about the Rinne Sharingan from Naruto. If you didn't think that Hiro was also gonna be god of the shinobi, well, you've seen nothing yet. This unique eyeball here allows him to channel the powers of the 6 paths, a concept that just means that he can use all types of chakra existing in the world of Naruto. The Rinne Sharingan also allows for its user to use the techniques of the Sharingan and the Rinnegan, as well as cast the ultimate jutsu, Tsukuyomi. Now, this basically means that Hiro can now copy other people's moves, warp reality even more than he already can thanks to the special jutsu of the Rinnegan, and most importantly, send everyone in the world into a deep coma. Meaning that if he doesn't want to fight you, well, that's an option now as well, I guess, and Hiro Uchiha over here can now just go make you sleep in an eternal dream, or even an eternal nightmare if he chooses. Alright, so that's 3 out of 4 powers so far, so what else could Hiro here possibly need? Well, with all the options out there, I thought really long and hard about it, and a couple of things did end up crossing my mind. He could have used Mob Psycho's extreme psychic abilities, or even a broken stand from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure like Zawardo or Made in Heaven, but I think our Hiro needs some more versatility, which means that there is one perfect technique to add here: the quirk of the world's greatest hero, one for all. Again, in case you're not familiar, this is the main superpower from the anime My Hero Academia, but it's more accurate to say that it's actually 6 unique abilities as well as their combined strength. Really, what a bargain with one power. We're kind of cheating here a little bit, but let me break down everything our completely broken character is about to receive in addition to what he already got. First off is Gear Shift, a quirk that lets Demon Lord Hiro here alter the speed of anything that he touches, accelerating it. He could use this to either make himself and his strikes even faster than they already are, or use it on an opponent so that they lose control. Next up is Fajin, which lets someone make repetitive movements and store up all of the energy each movement makes, stockpiling it for one huge burst of power. For example, Midoriya uses this by repeatedly crouching up and down, which in the end lets him unleash a super jump against Lady Nagant in episode 133 and 4 of the anime. Then after this ability, he'd unlock the quirk Danger Sense, which is pretty much the spidey sense, I guess. It will allow Hiro to detect an attack moments before it happens. And actually, we'll kind of continue with the Spider-Man moves with this next quirk, Black Whip. This is an ability that lets him create these dark energy ropes to grapple and stick to walls or wrap up his opponents in. Another quirk is called Smokescreen, which, as the name I guess implies, lets him create a huge purple smokescreen centered on him. And finally, there is the probably least useful one for Hiro specifically, Float, which, yeah, I guess lets him levitate again. I mean, I wonder if that means that Hiro can now super levitate, and what would that actually look like? But hey, that's still a pretty good deal for just 1 power, 5 extra skills on top of all the combined super strength each quirk gives is just a huge addition to this dude's toolkit. But now that we've been stuffing a whole lot of skills down this poor guy's throat, I have to give the Black Wizard Hiro a weapon as well. And come on guys, I mean, without a question, this has to be a legendary sword from somewhere. I mean, these things are the pinnacle of cool in any anime, and Hiro the mythical Ronin does need to be a samurai in some way or form as well. So what swords are available and what is possibly the best one for this fellow right here? Oh boy, so many to choose from again. Okay, well, some obvious options would be the Dragon Slayer from Berserk or the absolute silly and powerful Scissor Blade from Kill la Kill, and if we wanted to think even more weird, there's swords like Ragnarok from Soul Eater or Lost Vein, Melodious' dagger from the 7 Deadly Sins. If you know anything about anime, you probably know the answer to this question had to be a nightmarish Zanpakuto from Bleach, and I think I might have just picked the absolute perfect one, Ryujin Jaka. This flaming katana can literally burn an opponent to ash in a single slash. And so with this absolutely fire blade, Hiro can now control flames with his sword, flames that will burst out and incinerate anything that they come in contact with. But honestly, that's still nothing because it can also change its form and become the infamous Bankai Zanka no Tachi. And when this happens, all of those flames will just condense down onto the blade, enabling our young protagonist to slash things with flames so hot they burn things literally out of existence. It's getting hot in here, and it's all thanks to this absolutely fire sword, but a swordsman is only as good as his form and skill, so we do need to pick a truly powerful fighting style for Hiro, the god of high school as well. And yep, as you imagine, there is a ton of phenomenal choices again on the table. We've got super cool options like Baki's Total Fighting, which is a mix of various martial arts, or there's a technique called Hokuto Shinken, the signature style of Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. If you're not familiar, that's basically a skill that will leave any opponent dead on arrival, but as you can tell, those are all martial arts forms, and we gave our bad boy an absolutely filthy burning sword here. And so with that, there is really only one obvious answer to make Hiro even more absurd as he already is: the total concentration sun breathing of Demon Slayer. Think about it. Sun breathing is absolutely the only perfect option for our dude right here. Not only is it super thematic with the whole flaming sword that's hot as the sun and the sun god thing going from his Zanpakuto, but it's also a graceful and versatile technique as well. Sun breathing has 12 unique forms, perfect for just about any occasion you could think about. There's stances that can help you clear out a whole horde of enemies, like the Clear Blue Sky, a 360-degree attack. Or if you need to deal some direct damage to someone, there's the form Sunflower Thrust, a move so powerful it was able to pin down the legendary Demon King Muzan himself until sunrise. However, the real kicker of sun breathing is of course its secret 13th form. When a sun breathing user repeatedly performs all 12 techniques, also known as performing the Hinokami Kagura, the dance, they can raise their skill, speed, and strength to a truly insane degree. It's exactly this technique which enables characters like Tanjiro and Yoriichi to attack with the swiftness to cut down, and quick spoiler warning here, skip 10 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear this, all 7 hearts and 5 brains of Muzan at once, ultimately slaying a previously invincible seeming opponent. So Hiro now has the perfect fighting style, and even more importantly, he's actually also really good at tap dancing. Did you know that? Something that all that movement of the Hinokami Kagura actually surprisingly helps quite a lot with. But now that we've covered Hiro's sick moves, his body, and his powerful skills, it's finally time to also give our bad boy here some perfect armor. You know, something cool, flashy, and super durable, but also fashionable. And there are some truly stylish and god tier options like the clothes from Saint Seiya or any of the iconic and super stylish JoJo's Bizarre Adventure outfits as well. But since it turns out that Hiro is surprisingly picky, I do want him to have something both stylish and effective as well, which is exactly why he's gonna get Urza Scarlet's Heaven's Wheel armor. Originally from the anime Fairy Tail, this incredibly rad silver plate armor covers him head to toe with a nice big flower on the top. But not only that, he will also get these insanely edgy looking metal wings, and I do mean metal, as in these wings are literally made of dozens of individual swords that he can use if he wants to as well. And with this crazy armor, he can now summon any blade he wants at will, and each of them will be able to mimic the effects of the Hinokami Kagura, as well as be infused with his Bankai powers as well. Meaning that Hiro at this point is a living army with this armor, and that's of course exactly how he should be as the world's most powerful anime character. And funnily enough, this actually reminds me of that one time that young Hiro had accidentally gotten himself involved with the United States Naval Academy's recruiting department, and that poor dude was expected to literally be an army of one conquering the seas on their Navy battleships, and literally 3 hours into his first mission, they had to give him an honorable discharge once they figured out pretty much immediately that this guy sadly can't swim because of his devil fruit. And while yeah, that was a bit of a sad and lonely story, don't worry, because Hiro is not alone. After all, he does have his best friend with him. After all, of course, a main character like Hiro needs a trustworthy sidekick to keep him company on his crazy multiverse breaking quests as well. And obviously, if he's already going to break reality all the time, let's just give him a partner that can keep up with him as well. I'm talking about the god of Pokemon, Arceus. Okay, this seems really silly, but honestly, think about it. What better of a partner for Hiro, the Pokemon master, than the ultimate starter Pokemon? Because with Arceus, well, he'll have a partner that can adapt to literally any situation, changing types at will to counter any weakness that could possibly ever come up, and using his ultimate move, Judgment, Arceus can even nuke anyone out of creation all by himself. And yes, I hear some of the Pokemon fans out there calling me out already. Manu, in the games, Arceus isn't even the best Pokemon, but I'm talking about the animated manga. It's an anime video, okay? Please. So you can take your Mega Mewtwo's, Rayquazas, and Fluttermanes and get rid of them, because canon says Arceus wins, and I'm gonna stick to that. Also, I'm not super caught up with Pokemon, so just let me have that one, please. Thank you. And actually, since we're now in the realm of Saturday morning animes, let's give this dude some truly broken accessories as well. Because as you know, all cool main characters do need a signature little piece of equipment that sets them apart from the others. You know, like straw hats and like the little ninja, you know, just something cool to make him stand out. And I know just the one for the high school prodigy Hiro. I'm of course talking about the only logical pick here, the most iconic necklace in the history of fiction, the Millennium Puzzle from Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh yeah, we're doing this. With this ancient Egyptian artifact, Hiro will be not only the talk of the town, fashion-wise, but also the king of games. As it happens, the legendary pharaoh residing inside his necklace will be able to possess him like a ghost, and when that happens, will basically be unbeatable at any game, and well, I guess also grow about 2 feet, which is a major win in my book. But yeah, being the king of games will be the main thing that's super helpful here. Because as you'll hopefully remember, Hiro here is still a high school student, and between saving the world and studying, he'll still have plenty of other after-school activities that he's gonna need to crush as well. Something that the power of the Pharaoh Atem will help him with significantly. And if you don't see why that's important, let me paint you a bit of a picture about Hiro's day. Hiro's got school from 7 in the morning until about 2:30 in the afternoon, and once that is over, his schedule gets even more busy. From 3 to 4:30, he's got high school volleyball practice. He's currently attempting to beat Hinata Shoyo's records from Haikyuu, something that should be more than doable for the likes of him. And then after volleyball until 6 p.m, he goes straight to soccer practice, where he currently is attempting to make the U20 Japanese youth soccer team and outshine rival striker Isagi Yoichi from Blue Lock. Oh, and also on Tuesday nights after sports, he also has band practice, and before you ask, of course, he plays the tenor saxophone the most beautiful instrument objectively out there, and occasionally on Thursday mornings he'll also go to school a little bit early so he can impress everyone at the host club, his favorite extracurricular activity inspired by his friends over at Oran High School as well. But of course, to be the greatest high schooler ever as well, he's gonna need the best grades and a teacher to help him achieve those goals. After all, even with the absolutely broken powers that Hiro has at this point, he's still gonna need to settle down and get into university after he saved the world. And now that tragically marine biology is off the table, sorry for that, Hiro, he's gonna have to study extra hard to get a degree in political science and international relations. Yeah, that's what he picked. But don't worry, thanks to his incredible classes at the Tokyo Metropolitan Advanced Nurturing School, the school from Classroom of the Elite, in case you're wondering, Hiro is actually doing quite well in school. He's not the best, but he's still pretty smart. And if not perfect quite yet, his teacher Koro-sensei from Assassination Classroom will help him perfect both his studies and his sword techniques, and it really helps to have the world's greatest assassin looking out for you as well, I think. And with that, I guess we've done it. We've created the ultimate anime protagonist, main Hiro. I mean, he's ready to slay demons, defend Earth from alien threats, evil spirit attacks, and after that become probably a well-off member of society, I guess. And if you want to know more about all the crazy characters and franchises that actually inspired old Hiro here, then check out this video where I break down pretty much every single anime protagonist's origin story. I promise some of them are a lot more tragic even than Hiro's here. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this admittedly kind of crazy video, please let me know if you want to see more like that. It was surprisingly much fun making this, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.